Hey guys, it's time for my May fangirl favorites of 2014. I have a lot I have to get through, so down below there's going to be annotations for everything that I'm going to be talking about. If you want to skip any of these things because you haven't seen it, or you have no interest, or you don't want to be spoiled, then just skip around at your pleasure. So I'm going to get started. I'm going to first start off with season finales, starting with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was very strange for me. I think it had a very slow beginning. And then once it kind of got to the middle, probably even past the middle point of the series, it started to get rapidly better and better. Part of the problems that I had with the show early on is that, I don't know, it didn't really feel like I was in a Marvel world with superheroes, if that makes any sort of sense. There was just all of this focus on a lot of elements that, I don't know, I just didn't really care about in some ways. And one of my biggest issues was Skye. I could not stand Skye. I had no feelings for her one way or the other, and I just didn't understand her place in the series. And I had a lot of problems with many of the characters early on. I think I just wanted this rapidness of character development. I wanted Skye to develop. I wanted Ward to develop. I think early on they developed Melinda May pretty quickly. I instantly pretty much gravitated towards Fitz and Simmons, weirdly enough, even though kind of from start to finish they don't get as much character development compared to other characters. But still, I adored Fitz and Simmons. They're kind of the comic relief and kind of the people that I think we're supposed to relate to the most, perhaps. And then of course there was the whole issue of how the hell is Coulson back from the dead? Loki put a sword through him. So yeah, I think I went into S.H.I.E.L.D. kind of expecting too much to happen very early on. I almost don't think it should have been 22 episodes long. I think it should have been cut down to about 13. And that way a lot of the stuff could have been tighter and more quicker and rapid, and the development would have come a lot sooner from all these characters. The thing that happened that really finally just, I was like, wow, I love this show, was the episode where Skye got shot by Quinn. All of a sudden, I found myself really loving Skye, and Skye being the character that I was rooting for, and in some ways I think she became my favorite character, weirdly enough, considering how much I just didn't care for her the first half of the season. Now, that's not to say that I totally hated every single episode of the first half of the season. There were some random episodes here and there that I did enjoy. I did really enjoy the very first episode. I enjoyed the episode where the gang went to S.H.I.E.L.D. Academy, and that whole thing with the boy who could do the ice stuff. And then I also really, one of my favorite episodes of the season has got to be that episode where there's that mysterious virus going around. I can't remember all the details, but then Simmons catches the virus and she throws herself out the plane. It's all dramatic. That's probably one of my favorites. Some other favorite episodes, definitely the episode where Skye gets shot, that whole episode with the train, with the whole weirdness of that train going in and out of time or something. I'm still confused about that episode, but it was an awesome episode. I also freaking loved the episode with Sif from Thor coming in and being just badass. It was so awesome. I liked that whole thing with Sif and her rivalry with Lorelai, and I loved Lorelai. I'm kind of hoping Lorelai makes an appearance again, if not on the show, maybe at least in the Thor movies. And so the biggest arc that I enjoyed the whole season was definitely the whole arc that was connecting to Captain America 2 Winter Soldier, the whole fact that S.H.I.E.L.D. has kind of been infiltrated by Hydra this whole time. That whole arc was amazing. I loved it, and I loved how it did connect with Captain America 2. And that's kind of when the show really hit me, like, wow, this really feels like it's in the Marvel universe, within this whole frame of all these various movies. And they brought in a couple new characters. They brought in Garrett, played by Bill Paxton. He was so awesome. I can't believe he turned out to be evil. I was not expecting that. And then I also love the introduction of Triplet. I can't think of the actor's name. Is it BJ Britt? If it's not BJ Britt, then I'll write something else here. I'm really hoping that Trip stays on the show and he's kind of a new part of the gang, because it seems like Ward, who sadly went evil, Ward is off to jail, so it'd be great to see Trip kind of take Ward's place. And I don't think Ward is totally out of the picture. I was expecting Ward to die, because they were starting to kind of make you feel a bit of sympathy for him. They were really starting to make you see his psychology and his rationality for the things he was doing and how brainwashed he had become. So you do sort of start to kind of sympathize with him a wee bit. And I was starting to think they were going to kill him for him to go through a redeeming villain sort of trope. I think they'll come across some big issue next season. They will need Ward's help since he's a really strong guy. Overall, the season finale, I was a bit disappointed with the season finale. It was really, really good, but I was expecting a lot of questions to be answered. We at least, like in the previous episode or two, we had got kind of what the whole deal was with Coulson and how he had come back, and that he was actually kind of the reason why he came back, because of the serum that he had developed or something. I'm still confused about all the details, you guys. But the big thing I wanted answered in the season finale was, what is Skye? We've been led to believe that she is not totally 100% human, that she's some sort of product of aliens maybe, or of a creature of some sort, and that she might have some hidden powers within herself as well. So I think that's going to be the big theme for season 2 is realizing who and what Skye is. But yeah, did you guys watch S.H.I.E.L.D. this season? What were your thoughts? I know a lot of people started the show and watched the first couple episodes and then they didn't even continue, and I think that's a shame because the show really picked up so much once it got to the halfway point of the season. Okay, moving on to Reign, which is on the CW channel, notorious for silly teenage dramas. You guys, I freaking loved Reign. Oh my god, season 2 of this show is one of my most anticipated seasons next fall. When Reign started off, I knew I needed to go into the show knowing that it was most likely going to be historically inaccurate and overly silly and dramatic, and that they would have to up certain things for a teenage audience. So I went into the show knowing that, and that I shouldn't go into it taking it too seriously, knowing that Reign is not the Tudors or the Borgias or even Game of Thrones. One of the first things that threw me off in that very first episode was the fact that it seemed like all the women were wearing these beautiful prom dresses that you can just go buy at JCPenney. Seriously, I went to JCPenney the other day and I was looking at all like the prom dresses and I was like, this is like the Reign wardrobe selection right here. But I quickly told myself, I have to get past the clothing. The clothing, it makes no sense, but I gotta get past it. And I gotta get past those historical inaccuracies. And wow, you guys, once I got past those first 5 episodes or so, Reign kind of became this guilty pleasure for me. And what's more, the show quickly developed out of a guilty pleasure once it kind of got to like the halfway point of the season, and it just became a firm favorite for me that I just became absolutely obsessed with. The thing is, Reign may not be accurate by any means. It may have clothing that comes from JCPenney, but the thing is, it tells a damn good story that I was never bored, and I loved all the characters, even the villains. Unlike some CW shows like Supernatural, for instance, Reign did not have any filler episodes in my opinion. I really felt like every episode mattered and counted in some way, either towards the plot or towards just character development in general. And that's funny because I believe the season was about 20-some episodes long, and a lot of times when you have a season that is that long, you tend to get a lot of filler, and sometimes those filler episodes just it's like, I don't care, you know? But with Rain, I loved every single episode, which is strange for me. I think everyone was just fantastically cast, and it was all very well acted, I think. How is her name pronounced? Is it Adelaide Kane? She was marvelous as Mary, Queen of Scots. She had such a commanding presence, and she really drew me into that character. I really felt like I could believe Mary as this young woman who can take control of her kingdom and defy kings and queens. And you want to know who my very favorite character is? That would have to be Bash, played by Torrance Combs, I believe. I'm not going to pronounce anyone's names right in this, you guys. But Sebastian, aka Bash, was far and away my favorite character. You guys know I love kind of my villains, anti-heroes, bad boys, and Bash kind of falls into that kind of bad boy thing. It's funny because I thought Bash was initially going to be a villain. Those first couple episodes, they kind of were very vague with his character, and he was very mysterious, and I was like, oh man, he's going to be a villain, I'm going to love him. But then they kind of quickly altered that, and he became more of kind of an anti-hero, kind of bad boy, and him and Mary ended up kind of marrying for a little while, and that was awesome. Yeah, Bash and Mary were my ship. It's funny because the only other thing I've seen Torrance Combs on was The Tudors, where he played Thomas Culpepper, and he was a villain on that, and I absolutely hated him. I cannot stand his character on The Tudors. So it's just funny how much I absolutely loved him on this show. And then there's Toby Rego? I don't know, you guys, sorry. Who played Francis, who then, you know, he actually becomes Mary's first husband. But I really liked Francis, and so it kind of got to a point that I kind of disagreed with him, especially when it concerned Bash, and I kind of hated Francis's character for a little while. It kind of got to a point later in the season that I was like, okay, I like you again. But I think he was fantastically portrayed as well, even though historically I think Francis is supposed to be really sickly and pale and scrawny, and instead they got a really good-looking guy playing him. I also loved Queen Catherine and King Henry. They were just, oh, I love them so much. They were hilarious off each other and played so well against each other, and it's funny because I initially did not like Queen Catherine that much, but then I got to a point in the season that, oh man, I love her, she's one of my favorite characters. She's pretty much up there with Bash. And then even King Henry, even though the guy was freaking crazy and sleeping with all sorts of women, thing is, the acting was brilliant from him, and I loved him. Plus, he was on The Tudors too, so it was cool. Can't believe there were 2 Tudors people on this show. And the season finale, oh my god, I love the season finale. You get King Henry dying. I believe that was historically accurate with the way he died from a jousting tournament. Mary and Francis are together, even though we know it's not going to last very long because he should be dying sometime soon. I got all sorts of feels from Bash and Francis, I think, kind of reconciling with each other. Oh, they hugged. I squeed. I squeed so much, you guys. It was really fangirly. And we got Mary really taking control of things, and she's like, I'm gonna take Scotland, and I'm gonna take France, and all this awesome stuff. So yeah, I am pretty excited for where season 2 is going. I am just, like I said, it's one of the biggest shows that I'm looking forward to next fall. So have you guys seen Rain, and what did you think? Next up is Once Upon a Time. I did another video before, I think back in December, where I was talking about the first half of the season. So I'm just going to talk about the second half of the season in this video. Basically, this second half of the season was focused on kind of the Wicked Witch of the West and Oz, whereas the first half of the season was Peter Pan and Neverland. And I kind of like how the show is doing this with, you know, the first half being one thing, the second half being another thing. I think that works really good with this show, considering how many characters there are and all the plots. So I kind of hope that Once Upon a Time, the creators, they kind of keep this up and kind of keep doing this split. There's 2 different major arcs in the season, rather than kind of having an arc and spreading it across 22 episodes. Overall, the second half was freaking brilliant. I loved it. Rebecca Matter as the Wicked Witch, Zelena. She was awesome. I think she was a bit over the top on occasion, overly dramatic, but I think that worked well since this show can be a little over dramatic and over the top on occasion. And it just looked like she was having a good time with that character. And you guys, Rumpelstiltskin, he's not dead. I was concerned, you know, at the end of this first half of the season, was Rumpelstiltskin really dead? And he wasn't, thank God. And basically, the big thing about the second half of the season is Peter Pan's curse, which places the whole cast, except for Emma and Henry, into the fairy tale world, and that's where they live for about a year. And then it's the Wicked Witch who comes, and there's another curse that's started, and so they all get dropped back into Storybrooke, but they cannot remember the year that they were in fairy tale land for. I hope that all just made sense, you guys. If you've seen the season, you know what I'm saying. And I really liked that concept, them all, you know, that they all still remember that, hey, I'm Snow White, hey, I'm Prince Charming. I like that they still remember who they are. They just don't remember what they did in that past year in the fairy tale world. In addition to the story is the fact that Snow White is pregnant, and it's her baby that has something to do with the plot and why Zelena is after the child. Also, Zelena and Regina, sisters. Half-sisters or something. I can't believe this family tree. This Once Upon a Time family tree is getting ridiculous, you guys. And you all probably already know what my biggest enjoyment of the season was, and that has got to be the Captain Swan ship. Yay. It is a thing after the season finale. I am so happy. Captain Hook. Oh goodness. I love Captain Hook so much, you guys. I think the season finale of the show was one of my favorite season finales of all 3 seasons so far. I really liked Emma and Hook going back in time, and then Emma ends up kind of changing the course of history and accidentally doesn't have Snow White and Charming meet, so then she has to fix everything. And I liked kind of seeing this alternate reality of events and Emma having to fix it all. Jeez, what else is there that happened on Once Upon a Time? Because there's so much that happened in the second half of the season. I feel like I could just go on and on. I'm quite angry that Rumpelstiltskin proposed to Belle, and the whole thing was kind of a lie. I mean, I'm so disappointed with Rumpelstiltskin, you guys. I'm glad that Belle and Rumpel got married, but it all just seems such a big lie because he lied about his dagger and then he went and killed Zelena. And that speech, when Belle was kind of giving her vows, you guys, it made me cry. Not gonna lie, it made me cry. Also, Neil, I'm about to forget about Neil. I can't believe they killed Neil. Oh my god. I thought for sure Neil was gonna stay on the show as a permanent sort of thing because he's such a vital kind of person within the show, considering that he's Bellfire, Rumpelstiltskin's son. Also, he's Henry's father. So there's... And also, just with Captain Hook, that he was with Captain Hook for such a long time. And so there's... I'm really just kind of shocked that they made that decision to kill Neil, considering kind of all of the storylines that he kind of ties into. But Neil will be sadly missed. I really liked Neil, you guys. I may not have been a Emma-Neil shipper. I still adored Neil, though, and I still loved his scenes with Emma and Henry, and even Hook. And so, the big surprise at the end of the season finale was Frozen. I guess we're going to Arendelle next season, maybe, I don't know. It ended with Elsa. We did not see her face, we just saw her do some magic with her hands, some blueness, and then her beautiful dress and her hair. So yeah, I am freaking excited for Elsa. I'm very curious where they're going with Frozen. There's been a lot of speculation that it's not going to downright be the Disney Frozen. It's going to be more of the traditional Snow Queen, which I think will be interesting, and that way then she is a proper villain. So yeah, are you guys excited for Elsa? I know some people absolutely hate the idea. There's the people who love it and the people who hate it, but I'm on the side that is actually really looking forward to it, and you should have seen me at the end of that episode. I think I literally about screamed. I wanted to scream so much, but I was watching it at like 1 o'clock in the morning, so everyone else was asleep, so I had to control myself. But yeah, what did you guys think of Once Upon a Time? Where do you think things are going next season? We definitely know Elsa is coming to town. And we also know that the Knave of Hearts from Wonderland is coming over. So I'm curious if maybe the second half of the season will get Jafar's return, which would be kind of interesting. Moving on to Hannibal. I originally wasn't going to talk very much about Hannibal in this video, but after the season finale, I gotta get my feels out, you guys. Does anyone else watch Hannibal? Oh my freaking god, that season finale. In general, I love the whole season. I think there were kind of a few slow points here and there, and you all know how Hannibal is if you watch it. It's a very overly symbolic show, and I just can't get my head wrapped around some of the stuff that's going on and the psychology involved with everything. But it's the characters that I really love about the show, and oh my god, that season finale. I'm just skipping right to the season finale, you guys. We got Hannibal. He's having a dinner with Jack, and then all of a sudden just stuff happens because Jack's been suspicious of Hannibal this whole time. Hannibal and Jack have a big, huge, epic fight. Hannibal stabs Jack in the neck, and Jack's pretty much bleeding to death. And then Alana comes to the door. She goes through the house. She starts to run away from Hannibal, and then she goes upstairs, and guess who's there? Abigail. And I pretty much, at the end of last season, I was kind of 50-50. I was like, is Abigail dead? Is she not dead? I was kind of of the opinion that Abigail was not 100% dead. So I was pretty shocked and happy that Abigail was alive, because I really liked the Abigail character. So yeah, Alana's up there, and she's like, oh my god, you're alive. And Abigail pushes Alana out the window. Oh my god, and it was such an epic scene. It was done in slow-mo with the glass and the rain. It was so cool. But I was like, oh my god, we've got Jack, now Alana. But wait, you guys, it keeps going. So then Will comes to the house. Hannibal stabs Will, and there's just this really big moment between them, you know? Like, oh my god, I can't even describe it. Feels love. And Will gets stabbed, and then Abigail comes through the door. She gets her throat slit by Hannibal. So then we have two bleeding people on the floor. There's just bleeding people all over the place, you guys. Oh my god. And then it just ends. I don't even know what to say. Where's the season going next season? I mean, I'm very curious if who's alive and who's dead. I think Abigail for sure is dead. I don't imagine her coming back, considering that we already kind of had a fake death at the end of season 1. But Jack, Alana, and Will, I pretty much have absolutely no idea what's going on there. And it's really making me want to read the books so I can find out quicker, because I cannot wait another year. So did you guys watch Hannibal? Let me know in the comments below. Okay, some other random fangirlish news. A TV trailer for Gotham came out. Gotham being obviously the city where Batman fights crime. And I originally wasn't looking forward to Gotham. I don't know, I felt like it was just trying to ride on the coattails of S.H.I.E.L.D. for some reason, you know, like, because S.H.I.E.L.D. had really good success, and so I felt like they were like, hey, let's make Gotham. It'll work, S.H.I.E.L.D.'s doing great, let's make Gotham. But I saw the trailer for Gotham. It looks freaking awesome and epic, and I just really loved how the whole promo was laid out, and it's about a young Officer Gordon, I believe, and just everything before Batman. And we even get a glimpse of, you know, little Batman, Bruce Wayne. And the whole thing is supposed to be this thing of the beginnings of a lot of the villains. It says before there was Riddler, before there was Poison Ivy, before there was Joker. It's so awesome. Is anyone else watching Gotham? I am definitely going to be glued to that screen watching Gotham because it looks awesome. Moving on, Wild Things with Dominic Monaghan. Does anyone else watch that show? It's a show that airs on BBC America, and it's basically Dominic Monaghan, the actor from Lord of the Rings, who played Merry, and he goes around to different countries and he just searches for the most dangerous creatures in those countries, whether it be rodents of some sort or amphibians, whatever. Anyway, there was a brilliant episode, and it was Dominic Monaghan, and he invited Billy Boyd, who played Pippin on Lord of the Rings, and the episode, oh guys, if you guys have never watched Wild Things, at least watch the episode with Billy Boyd, because it was hilarious, and it was just Merry and Pippin reunited, and it was so freaking adorable and hilarious. And for a moment, you know, the show, it's about hunting down dangerous creatures, but it kind of turned into the Merry and Pippin show again. And lastly, I wouldn't have a Fangirl of the Month video if I didn't have Fangirl merch consisting of pops. I bought Tyrion from Game of Thrones. I can't believe I have not bought a Tyrion yet. There's actually 2 Tyrions. This one's kind of supposed to be from like the first couple seasons. There's another one where he has the slash through his face, which I'd also like to get. I got Dany's dragon Drogon. He's so adorable. There are the other 2 dragons, but I've only been able to find this one so far. But yeah, now look! I have Dany and they can go together. It's so adorable. And you guys, I about freaked when I saw this one. Ghost, Jon Snow's direwolf. Oh my god. I have been looking anxiously all over the place for these direwolves. There's also one for Grey Wind, which I just cannot find anywhere at all. I'm not even sure if it's even out in stores yet, even though it's kind of advertised that it is. But I did find Ghost, and oh my god, he's adorable. And guess what? I got Jon Snow with him. And it's funny because it's like technically the direwolf's kind of life-size with this Jon Snow pop, because the direwolves are kind of this huge in comparison with the humans. Okay, you guys, I'm extremely sorry for this long video. If you made it through, congrats. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you liked this month's Fangirl video, you may like these past Fangirl videos. Bye, guys.